I am Lawrence Chuno, and this is Doing Jazz. Hello everyone, and welcome to Doing Jazz. My name is Lawrence Chuno, and this episode is with vocalist Kristina Koller. Kristina is an emerging musician and band leader whose work is currently garnering some well-deserved acclaims for voice, composition, and arrangement. Her band is well regarded in the New York jazz scene and has played in some of the most distinguished jazz clubs in the country. On her new album Perception, Kristina gives some well-thought-out modern treatment to familiar jazz standards in a way that reinvents this classic material, yet preserving their essence. On the same album, she also finds space to showcase her very promising songwriting skill through some of her original compositions. The song playing in the background is You Go to My Head. During my conversation with Kristina, you'll hear the songs Blame It on My Youth and You Are Here Now. And towards the end of our conversation, you'll hear the song Simplicity. All these songs can be found on the album Perception by Kristina Koller. After listening to this episode, you can learn more about Kristina Koller by going to the website of the show, www.doingjazz.net, and you can also listen to more episodes of Doing Jazz by subscribing on iTunes, Spotify, and any of the available podcast vendors. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I present the very talented Kristina Koller in your face.
Though I'm certain that this heart of mine hasn't took ghost of a chance in this crazy romance. You go to my head.
Kristina Koller, right?
Yes, Koller, yes.
Good. Welcome to Doing Jazz.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming. Thank you for allowing me make you leave your house in this cold. It's freezing today. It's really, really cold. Yeah. Let's get to it. I discovered I found out, or I noticed, you've been busy lately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I try to stay busy, yeah.
Oh, okay. I mean, in terms of performance.
Yeah. I just performed at the Velvet Note 2 weeks ago in Georgia.
Oh, nice.
And that was a really cool experience. I brought my whole band out, and we did 2 nights there. 3 sold-out shows out of 4, which was a great feeling. A great way to end 2017 and start 2018. So that's what we just did recently. And now the album's coming out, so it's the new year. Gotta get things moving.
Yep. I like that spirit. But before that, you performed at Smalls.
Yes, I did.
In New York City.
Yes, unfortunately, I was sick on the day, but I made it.
I didn't
through.
notice.
Yeah. Oh, you watched?
Yeah, I watched on Instagram.
Okay.
Yeah, things happen on Instagram.
Yeah.
Kristina, I'm sure you know that.
I know lots of things. You knew.
Yeah. I was telling you before about your video blog. I like it.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, can you talk about it? You bring people in and
so it's called Sessions, and basically what I do is I get together different musicians, and in an hour we arrange a tune, and then we record the tune, and we make magic. Basically, I usually pick the tune, but without an arrangement in my mind. I have like some ideas usually, and then I bring it to the bandstand, and everybody has their input, and we make some music together, you know.
Usually one musician.
Huh?
Usually one musician at a time.
No, it's like it varies. It could be it's like trio, duo, or like a full band usually. So.
How frequently do you do it?
I used to do it once a month, but now I've been slacking, so I gotta get back to doing it. It's hard to.
Yeah, it's really hard. It's involved video and sound.
Yeah.
This is just sound. This is just audio.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I like just audio.
It's a lot easier.
Yeah, it's a lot easier. Yeah, you don't have to worry about, and it's sometimes it's easier to consume too, because you can just be listening to it and doing whatever you're doing. Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah. Okay. Let's talk about your album, because I listened to it, to everything. Believe me.
Good.
Yeah. So I was telling you earlier that the feeling I get from the album is that some songs, some standards that I didn't care about, your album is making me care about these standards. Like You Go to My Head, the first track, which is one of my favorite from the album, Blame It on My Youth, and there's this Frank Sinatra song you covered. I can't remember, something April.
Oh, I'll Remember April.
Yeah, I'll Remember April. Yeah. I mean, the only person that I know who have done that song is Frank Sinatra. Yeah, I'm sure there are other people who have done it. Yeah, so I'm interested in your selection process.
Okay, so well, the idea behind the album was that I wanted to tell people about who I am, basically. It's an introduction to who I am, but also it's called Perception for two reasons. One, because I want people to figure out what style of music I play. I don't want to be labeled as just a jazz singer. And the second thing is the whole idea of perception of being in New York. For these past 3.5 years I've been living in New York, all the different relationships I've had, friendships and romance, and me, all my thoughts that go into all these relationships and how hard it is to keep it and sustain relationships, friendships, and romance. And that's really what the concept of the album is for people to get where I'm coming from. And that's why a lot of the originals that I wrote they all are about relationships and friendships. So that, and I also, like I Miss You, which is a Blink-182 song. I took a song from my past because I used to listen to them all the time in high school. And same with Bon Iver, which is Skinny Love is another song. But those both really related to what I was going through at the time, what relationship I was in at the time. So I ended up arranging them, and all the songs that I picked were based off of relationships and friendships.
So you arranged all the songs? Nice. That's awesome. You did a very good job.
Oh, thank you.
When it comes to arrangement, one of my favorite from the album is Blame It on My Youth. How I like different time signatures. That's one thing I really like, especially odd time signatures, and I like 6/8 to 6/8 is so it's more natural to me than 4/4 or whatever. So I like how it went 5.
Yep.
There was a time it became 5, So you did all those yourself?
Yep.
Nice.
All by myself. But of course input with the guys.
Yeah, of course.
But I like I'll Remember April, I think that's the one that we've worked on the most together and we created together. But all the other ones, those are all mine that I did by myself.
Nice. So there are 12 songs in the album. You were telling me that 4 of them are original.
Yes.
I want to talk about the originals.
Okay.
The one you told me is, I can't remember what it's called. I'll be here. No.
You're here now?
You're here now. Yes.
It's okay.
Yeah. I was telling you it has a Stevie Wonder vibe, that it gives me some kind of Stevie Wonder vibe. Can you tell me about that song, please?
Okay. Well, I wrote this song when I was in a relationship with someone, and it was more so me feeling as if, I think it's more of the idea of being in love, I wasn't in love with the person, but I put it in my mind that I was falling for this person, and then the song came out of it, and I don't know, it's funny because now when I perform it live, I'm like, yeah, this is a song about me thinking that I was in love, but the thought of being in love is more of the idea with the song. But at least it came out of it. And everybody tells me, this is a great song for a wedding. You should perform this at weddings. Da, 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 da. So it's cool. I like to hear what people's perspective of the song is. Especially hearing that it sounds like Stevie Wonder. That's awesome to hear because I love Stevie. So
I found someone who cares, and now I don't feel scared. You hold me close, and I feel at home. And I can't believe you're here. You're the man I have been waiting for.
So what I'm hearing is that the lyrics came first. Mm-hmm. So how about, I just want to know the process in that song, how it came out, like in terms of music, in terms of composition.
Yeah.
Is there anything you can say about this?
Well,
I don't even know what key
it's hard to remember how I wrote the song so long ago. But I mean, I think usually I end up just noodling on the piano, thinking of chords. This was a time where this person was away for a while, so I felt a little bit lonely, but I also felt like a sort of comfort that I knew that they were there, So I ended up writing the song. It started off. I think I actually did the chords first, and then I did the lyrics. Melody chords, then melody, then the lyrics. That's usually how it works for me.
I see.
Like I'll write chord progression, I'll start humming it, humming some random melody over it, and then the lyrics come. So I think that happens with every song I write, actually. So that's what usually happens.
For me, it could be whatever, but usually mine starts with bass lines. Yeah, like most of my songs they start with a bass line, which is weird.
That was a good way to start. I mean, that's how I usually start a lot of my arrangements, though. I think of the bass line first.
Bass lines. But my problem is that because I'm not a trained musician, so I find out is that most of the times my melody ends up becoming either mostly the bass line or a fifth, above, or a third. I was talking to one of my piano teacher, and I was back in Pittsburgh, and I was showing him a song I wrote. He's like, "Dude, you don't want your melody to be the fifth all the time, to be on the fifth all the time, But yeah, and I've been working on that
cool.
since then. Another one is simplicity.
Simplicity.
Yeah.
There's a funny story behind that one, actually.
I want to hear it.
So, me, Chris, and Fema, who are the bass player and the pianist on the album, we used to have a weekly gig in the Upper East Side at a restaurant. Typical thing to do, in New York, as a New York musician. But one night there was absolutely nobody there, and it was raining outside. So we were like, "Oh, let's write a song." And so we ended up writing a song, and then I created these lyrics, basically telling everybody about our friendship and that night how much we have a great time together making music and being friends. And so I've developed such a good, strong relationship with these guys for the past year and a half, and it's cool that we were able to write a song together. And I don't know, the song, once you hear the song, you understand that that's what we wrote it about. So Yeah.
And it's in the same spirit as another one, Utopia.
Yes.
Yeah, it's Utopia starts simple. I think it's remained simple the whole time. Like when I say simple, I mean maybe just two instruments.
Yeah, it's ukulele and bass and voice.
And bass, yeah, and voice, yeah. How about that one? You want to talk about it a little bit?
So actually, it's funny because this was a project in school that I was supposed to start writing a song based on one word. I think or has to do with like a dream of yours or something.
Yeah.
So it was supposed to be about Canada, going on a road trip to Canada, but it ended up evolving into this idea of a utopia, of me wanting to move somewhere else and find my home, because right now I'm in the place where I'm like, I don't know if New York is my home, unfortunately, because there's a lot of things that I want. Like in the song says, I want a house with a picket fence, like the American dream.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
I think about that every day.
Yeah.
I keep wondering, is this what I want? Living in a one-bedroom apartment? Even if I get married and have kids, would I want to live in an apartment in Manhattan? Or would I maybe move to maybe Riverdale in Bronx or something? Or do I want to move to Jersey? If I move to Jersey, my work is in New York.
Yeah.
Do I want to be paying those tolls, or should I just move from this city? Yeah, I wonder about that.
Yeah.
Every
I mean,
day.
I think everybody wonders
Yeah.
if it once in a while if this is our home. You know, if they're in the right place to be for the rest of their lives or not. So yeah, because for me, I'm a suburban girl, so I grew up around nature and having a dog, and you know, I don't want to have a dog in New York because I just feel so bad for them. So
I understand, yeah. And isn't it funny that even though this is like a concrete jungle, as some people would say, like there are there are parks. New York does a good job in maintaining its parks, but everybody lives in an apartment, and at the same time, a lot of people have dogs.
yeah,
I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't know. Especially the big dogs.
Yeah.
I'm like, how can you have a big dog in a small apartment?
Yeah.
There's nowhere for them to run or anything.
I know.
I just feel
Like
bad for them.
what happens to the dog when they go to work?
Yeah.
Like I usually go to work in the morning and come back in the night. So like I don't know if I have a dog, I don't know. What would the dog be doing then?
Yeah, I know. It's sad to think about. That's why I'm like, I can't do it.
Now let's talk about. That's a nice segue to your background.
Yeah.
Where are you from?
I'm from Westchester, New York.
Okay.
Yeah.
Close to the city.
Yeah, 45 minutes away on the train, so it's not bad. Yeah.
I'm trying to get to how you end up becoming this amazing vocalist that you were.
Oh,
How did, like growing up, did you go to school? When did you start doing music?
When I was 8 years old, I
Okay.
started singing. I did musical theater for like 8 years of my life. So that's like my main background. But I always, my parents always blasted Motown and classic rock. So I grew up listening to that and jazz and classical. Like my grandpa loves Frank Sinatra. He never stops talking about him. But then I ended up moving into, when I went to high school, I was in an opera. I did classical for a bit. And then I also created my own rock band. Like I did it, like everything.
Awesome.
I tried to explore as much as I possibly could. But then when come college time, I was like, I don't want to do more musical theater. I don't want to do classical. I want to do something else totally different. So I tried jazz because I wanted to make music my own. And jazz just fell into my heart, and that's how it happened. I don't have like that interesting. Usually people are like, oh yeah, I grew up listening. I remember this album that,
Yeah.
But I don't know. I just always listened to different styles of music. I never was set on one style of music, I guess.
But your story is still very interesting to me and very admirable to me. I keep saying this on this podcast, but I'll keep saying it. I admire people who found out that I want to do music when at a younger age, So I'm assuming you knew you wanted to do music like
Yeah.
in high school or something.
Yeah,
Or
well, I
before
mean,
then?
I've been singing since I was 8. Like,
Yeah.
I was inspired by my best friend at the time to start learning how to sing.
Okay.
And I just never gave up on it, and it's just there's nothing else I would know what to do with my life. You know,
Yeah.
this is
so
what I
you
want.
knew you wanted to do it professionally.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, well,
That's good.
probably yeah. When I was like in middle school, I was like, yeah, I think this is what I'm gonna end up doing for the rest of my life. Like, I don't care about academics and like all that stuff. Like, music is my thing. You know.
Wow. Nice.
So
Nice. That's very admirable to me. Like if you finding out of being comfortable of choosing a route in the arts at a young age, I find that very admirable because are your parents musicians?
my dad dabbles on the guitar, but
Okay.
he's not a professional musician.
He's not a professional
Yeah, he
musician.
does
How
that
about your
sound.
mother?
No, she doesn't at
No.
all.
So that even makes it more amazing because people who know from a young age that this is what they do, what they want to do, usually have parents who are artists, parents who are musicians or actors or writers. Parents who have like regular jobs, when they end up having kids who become musicians or actors or writers like
Yeah.
you, I find it more amazing because like I'm wondering, were they very encouraging of the route you chose?
Well, I think the thing is, both my parents are very creative.
Okay.
So
okay.
usually, if you have a creative mind, then maybe the child will be creative in the end, you know. But my brother also, I have a brother too. He also used to play guitar and bass and dabble in music as well. But it was never his goal in life to be a musician. But it was always a hobby of his as well. So it's interesting. And my dad's side of the family is more musical though than my mom's side, I guess. So.
But did your parents ever ask you how do you plan to make a movie, make a living from?
Well,
this
they've
music?
always been very supportive of me,
Okay.
and they know that this is what I'm born to do, I guess. So no, that sounds weird, it's cheesy, but
No, but it's true. Yeah. That's what you're doing now.
yeah, I don't know, because I've always had this set path to sing since I was 8 years old. So I haven't skewed away from it or anything.
Yeah.
It's just always been that. So, you know, I mean, I also was a dancer for a bit, but it wasn't something that
Ballet?
I did tap, jazz, hip hop, and yeah, some ballet. And then I was also in my high school's dance company, so I did step dancing, African dancing. I did a lot.
You did it all.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm African. I'm from Nigeria.
Okay.
So you probably did some West African dance.
I don't know what
You don't know what
exactly.
you did?
Who knows? Because it's white people trying to do it. So
Yeah. One thing with African, what can you say about? Let's digress a little bit. What can you say about African dance? One thing you would say.
it was very freeing. I don't know. I felt very good
Yeah.
doing it. I don't know. It was.
I feel like it takes a lot of energy. It takes more energy than.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I know.
It was fun being barefoot too, though.
Yeah, being free. Yeah. Okay, you're a vocalist. You went to college for
Yes.
for music, right? For vocals.
Yeah, I went for jazz voice. I
Okay.
went a year and a half at the Jackie McLean Institute,
Okay.
and then I transferred to City College for the rest of my time.
Okay.
So,
Does City College? Why City College?
I mean,
Or how?
how?
Yeah.
well,
Because I hear like Manhattan School of Music,
Yeah.
like people.
I mean,
school. But
there's not many undergrad programs for jazz voice actually.
okay, I
So,
see.
But also I've known Suzanne Pitson for a while, who's the head of the vocal department, and I knew that there was a lot of staff members that I wanted to work with, like Steve Wilson. So, and it was a lot cheaper than going to the other school
Yeah,
that I went
because you're from
to.
New York.
Yeah,
You're from New York State.
Yeah, in-state tuition is
Yeah.
crazy cheap. But I mean, I learned a lot. I learned a lot from that school. Definitely, it made me open my mind. I wouldn't have started arranging if I didn't go there. I think, because the other school that I went to, I don't think I learned as much as I would have wanted to learn. So it definitely made me think outside the box for sure. So helped open me up, which is good.
Nice.
And I got to live in New York, so and experience.
You're from Westchester.
Yeah, I know, but I never like really lived in New York and been in the New York jazz scene before until I moved here. You know.
Okay.
So.
Okay, talking about the New York jazz scene, we're talking a little earlier, and you're telling me how you've kind of stopped going out to the jam sessions and all those things.
Yeah.
I have this feeling. Maybe you don't have the same feeling, but I just have this feeling that in the jazz jam sessions, they don't give enough time to vocalists. Do you feel the same way?
Yeah, it is. It's that. But, there's more to it than just not. I mean, it seems like a lot of jam sessions just get out of hand sometimes where people like end up soloing way too long. And a lot of jam sessions are like the same songs over and over again. And I'm like, there's only so much you can learn from that after a while. So, but being a vocalist is totally different than being an instrumentalist for sure.
Yes.
I think we vocalists get looked down on once in a while. So it's unfortunate, but that's why I think it's not necessary for a vocalist to be hanging out all the time at jazz clubs because you find your own way by doing your own thing. A lot of instrumentalists have to be there because they're sidemen and they need to get gigs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But vocalists have to get their own gigs most of the time. We're not sidemen, so that's how I look at it. I mean, I don't have anything against going to the jazz club.
No, I understand. I just want to learn because I feel the same way. I don't go out that much because sometimes when I get there and I used to go to this jam session in Pittsburgh, and it's a really nice jazz jam session, but they have like two halves, would I say, like it's usually starts at 8 p.m. And ends at maybe 2, so it's like the first 3 hours, there's the first 3 hours, and then they have a break, and then they come back and stay till 2, and they end up calling on maybe just 2 vocalists the whole time, or sometimes 1. And I know a lot of vocalists who come there and just hang out trying to get on the mic, but they call on horn players and guitarists, and sometimes they call it on a guitarist that would solo for like 10 minutes or something like that, So usually I would just go there to watch how things happen.
Yeah, that's what it is like now for me too. Like if I'm gonna go to a jam session, I won't sit in. I'll just go to talk to people and network and stuff like that. Okay. I mean, I've been going to Zinc Bar, which I kind of like better sometimes, because it's a totally different vibe there. They have like the crossover jazz musicians who do R&B and hip hop and jazz. So it ends up like turning into like a party, like people jamming like and making like grooves and stuff instead of just swinging all the time, which I think I like. I don't know. I've been more so going into that route of where my music wants to go, I guess. Because it's, I feel like that's more universal in a way, that style of music.
And it's what you do well too. You like your album, you pulled it off. Like that song gave me a Stevie vibe, and it's still hardcore jazz. But the total feel of your album reminds me of, I don't know if you know her, Gretchen Parlato.
Yeah. Okay. I love her. She's like one of my biggest influences. So.
And it gives me that feel, and that's some good music. I'm saying it as a compliment.
Yeah, no, so, I love her. So thank you for
that. Nice. Yeah. We're talking about going to jam sessions. I used to go to Smalls. I was telling this to one of my other friends. And another person on this podcast, Judy Jackson, that she likes Smalls.
Yeah,
but
I love Smalls too.
I get a church feel. Like it's like I'm coming to, it's like either, if, I usually feel like I'm in a classroom or like I'm at church whenever I go to Smalls. I don't know, because everybody just listen, it's like, okay.
But I love that. I mean, if people
there's
are
something
listening,
good about that. Yeah,
if it's especially you're the musician on the bandstand and people are listening, it's like that's a great compliment in itself,
Yes, yeah.
Instead of people talking very loud in the back at in a bar or something, So, I mean, I love Smalls and Mesro are probably my favorite clubs to go to because they're like that. They're very, they have listening audiences and it's very welcoming there for musicians to be there.
But one thing I was gonna say is, you played at Smalls, even though, what I get from Smalls is that the like traditional jazz. Yours is jazz, but at the same time, it has this nice intersection with pop and R&B. How did you? I guess I'm trying to say, how did you make it to Smalls? How did they accept you?
I mean, I think people have been a bit more open-minded now these days. I mean, Spike has like Willem Delisfort and Corey Wallace, and they do that. They do like the crossover stuff. They always end up going into a groove and stuff, and people love it. The audience like grasps at it. I can't speak. And it just makes people feel good inside when they hear that style of music, and not just always straight ahead jazz. But I do straight ahead jazz. Yeah. I do a mixture of it. I think that's how to make it acceptable into a jazz club scene, like jazz club scenario, I guess. But it's funny because when I went to the Velvet Note, the owner Tamara, she was like, "Oh, I love all your arrangements, like blah blah blah." So I basically just did all of my arrangements and my crossover stuff, and that's a jazz club. Like that's one of the best jazz clubs in the country. So it just all depends, really. All depends, so it's opinions based on. So like Zinc Bar, for instance, like they have, like I said, they have a lot of the crossover stuff as well. But there's a lot of there are also clubs that are only thinking traditional all the time, and then they won't accept like I've applied to a bunch of clubs all over the place, and they don't want me because my music's too progressive for them. So it just depends.
And sometimes they just, maybe after you've played a few places and after your album has garnered recognition, all of a sudden they want you.
Yeah.
So,
well, who knows?
I mean, it's gonna happen. I know that. I know.
Yeah.
They're gonna be calling you. Trust me. Yeah. Now, how do you book your shows?
Well, I have a lovely parental guidance. Okay. So they help a lot with booking. But that's not like I don't think that's like an atypical thing because a lot of musicians have their parents helping them book gigs.
Really?
Yeah. Like Ben Williams, like his mom does it,
Okay.
Ben Williams, bass player? Yeah.
Okay.
Christian Sands, his mom helps out.
Wow.
Yeah.
So the mom becomes the manager.
Yeah.
Sort of.
Well, my dad's really the manager.
Okay.
But my mom helps out too with like getting local gigs like in my near my hometown and stuff. My dad does like the States.
Yeah.
I guess.
So he basically just contact people, deal with that mess of getting rejections and
or not getting emails
or not getting emails
because people don't know how to respond to an email anymore. But I also do it too. Like I try to do the New York at least,
Okay.
Like the most of the I tried to do a tour for my album coming out. I'm trying to do one gig a month with my full band in New York.
Okay.
So like I'm performing at Cornelia Street Cafe as my album release. Where else? New Blue, the New Blue, which I'm really excited about. I love that club. Have you been there before? Oh, it's really, really cool spot. It feels like you're like in a nightclub.
Nice.
Which is really nice. Like I feel like jazz clubs should be like that.
Yeah, it should. It should. I mean, we're in 2018 for God's sake.
Where else? Minton's, Groove. I try to do like different types of venues as well, like because Groove is like more so R&B venue, but it's right next to the Blue Nose, so it's a cool spot. But it's very hard to get gigs these days because you have to keep calling and emailing nonstop because nobody answers. Yeah. And it's like, just tell me yes or no. That's all I want to know, And then people will say yes, and then they won't answer you for a few weeks.
Yeah, I know.
It's like...
Yeah. Now, question. I don't know how to ask this, but I'm just gonna ask it from my experience, my perspective. Right now, I don't make money from my music, and I get paid, but there's no net positive because I have to pay my musicians. I'm assuming that, I don't know. Maybe I should ask. Do you go through the same? Are you going through the same thing for now? I mean, it's gonna change. You have a new album, and this is your full-time gig.
A lot of gigs. Yeah. I just pay out of my pocket from musicians because, of course, there's a lot of those venues that don't want to pay you. Yeah. So, and they do door things. So I end up giving them a guarantee at the very least, and sometimes I end up not getting any money in my pocket in the end. Or I break even,
Breaking even is enough for me.
Yeah, exactly. So, sometimes you just got to do that because, a lot of, like, certain things, it's based on, like, doing it for experience or doing it for exposure, unfortunately. But...
and investing, too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You're an entrepreneur as a musician. You got to invest in stuff. So, but... Yeah, like even paying for like flights and hotels and all that, you got to do out of your pocket. But
because like for your Georgia gig, I thought you were from Georgia.
No,
I thought you went home too and then got a gig there. So, but
that gig actually paid us to go there. So,
that's good.
Which was nice.
That's awesome.
Like that never happens.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So there are venues like that.
Congratulations. Yeah.
Thank you.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That means they believe in you that much to do that.
They took a chance on us.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. It's not that. And the cool thing about that gig too is FEMA got his own 2 nights there coming up too. A piano player.
Okay.
Because they liked him so much.
Oh, nice,
so
nice.
Awesome. He got a benefit out of that.
Awesome.
But that's the thing. There's not many venues like that in the world,
But they're there.
Yeah, but you gotta find them. That's the thing.
But if you don't do those shitty gigs, you won't get to the point where you start discovering cool gigs like the place you just played at.
Yeah, exactly.
The Velvet Note.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I feel like if you just keep, I don't know, even though you're gonna do those gigs that don't pay, in the end it'll pay off. Yeah. If you're meant to be doing what you're doing, it'll pay off in the end, and something will happen. So it just takes time. Yeah. It's a progression, but
I have a question about being a band leader. People who are not experienced with the dynamics of a band, when they see a vocalist, especially a female vocalist, I just have to be honest, they just see some of them, they just think, oh, maybe all the arrangements were done by somebody else. And the musicians put everything together and they just called her to sing. But listening to you, I don't think, even when I listen to you live, I feel like I see a band leader, Can you say a few things about the inner workings of your band? How you put things together, rehearsals, arrangement?
Well, I mean, that's the thing. It's like, what I at least do with the bass player and the piano player is I try to have like a regular recurring gig with them. So that's our way of rehearsing. Okay. So I bring in arrangements with them, and we just go through tunes, especially like at a restaurant. Barely anybody's going to be listening anyway if you mess up. So
Yeah.
it's like, might as well just like practice these tunes and see what it sounds like. And then when we have like a big gig, then I'll like get them all together and we'll rehearse probably for like 3 hours, like 2 days before the gig, and they'll give input about like what I have to fix about the chart, because that I'm still having a hard time writing out music into finale. There's like doing hits specifically. That's the thing I have like the hardest time with, rhythms and stuff like that. But they help me to tell me what to fix and.
You mean like writing it out?
Yeah, writing out the music.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't even do that. I just write my bass line, I'm a melody, and then I tell them, okay, do everything.
Hey, freeform. So, yeah, but that's the thing. It's like they're really helpful in that way. Is that they give me good insight about how to make it better and make it more obvious as to what we're doing. But what I've been doing recently too is that I record all my arrangements into GarageBand by myself. Okay. And then I'll bring the recording to the rehearsal and the music so they can see what I mean, like what I want with the music. Yeah. So they can hear it, but also the chart might not be right with what's going on in the music, so they can just mark it up and help me fix it.
Awesome.
So, yeah, that's what I've been doing recently with the music.
Nice. You talked about like restaurant gigs. Let's go back to gigs. So where are these restaurants that you get to play as a duo? Like just all around?
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like they're not consistent. Like we had a weekly gig for the past year and a half, and then they're like, oh, we're under construction now. We don't know when it's going to be back going. And I'm like, okay, so that basically means that we're done. Yeah. Because I'm not going to wait around to see if I could get try to find another gig that's going to be regular. But that's the problem too during winter time. Like no restaurants want music because nobody goes out during the winter. Everybody stays in. So I know I don't like to go out in the winter.
but sometimes people still go, like especially during maybe the weekend. Sometimes Mondays you see more people out than some other days. Especially. I don't know, I've had those weird experiences where I have a Monday gig or a Tuesday gig and the place is full.
Really?
I'm like, what is going on?
During the winter?
Sometimes, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. New York is tough.
Yeah.
New York is the place to be for music, because you get challenged, you get pushed, you go through rough experiences, you see people who are really, really good. But at the same time, when it comes to having a following, it's very difficult in New York.
Oh yeah, for
it's
sure.
the most difficult place, to get a following.
Well, it's funny too, because like when I went to Georgia, I was like, nobody's gonna come see us. Nobody knows who I am, And then we had like full houses, and I'm like, okay, that's cool. That never happens in New York.
Yeah, it never, hardly.
So,
nice.
It's just another world,
Yeah. All right, I want to conclude this with a fun little game I like to play with musicians.
Okay.
It's called turn up or mute. Sometimes I call it turn up and mute. Sometimes I call it turn up mute. So it's just turn up mute. Today's turn up mute. So I'll give you 2 choices, 2 things, 2 articles, 2 items. With the one you prefer to the other, you turn it up. The other one, we mute it. Right?
Okay.
But that doesn't mean that the one that's mute, that you don't like it. It just means for now, how you feeling at this moment. All right? You get it, Kristina?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
I think so.
Westchester, New York City.
Oh, so I'm supposed to say one of them is turned up?
Yeah, you tell the one you like, you prefer.
Okay.
For now, you turn it up. You tell it.
Turn up Westchester.
Okay. Why? Picket fence.
Yeah, right. No, it's just home, I don't know. I've been really feeling like I need to be home recently, and especially this is gonna sound cheesy, being with my dog, because she's like therapy. She always cheers me up. I don't know. It's hard for me to stay level-headed in New York sometimes, and I'm fortunate enough to be able to go home so much, and I do go home a lot because I do work. I also work as a music teacher in the area over in Westchester, so Westchester, turn up.
Fair enough. All right, ready?
Okay.
Ready to make enemies?
God.
All right. Gretchen Parlato, Esperanza Spalding.
Gretchen Parlato, turn up.
Okay, nice.
Yep.
Nice. I can't remember all her songs, but I used to listen to her album. This was a long time ago, and I saw her perform live at some venue in Pittsburgh, and I saw her perform with Esperanza Spalding. Actually, thinking about it, yeah. But there's an arrangement. There's a Michael Jackson song that she does. I can't remember. Never mind.
I don't know which Michael Jackson tune she does either. But is it Can't Help It? Because everybody does that.
It. Yeah.
Okay. I was like,
even Esperanza Spalding did it. Yeah.
That's like the jazz musician Michael Jackson tune to do.
Yes. Yeah. True. All right. The last one. Be careful.
Oh God.
You're Here Now and Simplicity. You have to choose between one of your children. Which one do you turn up? Just now. It could change.
I'm gonna say Simplicity turn up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know. It's just so much fun to perform that live because people really react to it and laugh. They they feel the joy in the song. You know.
Yeah.
So I'd say that for right now, but it could change.
Yeah. I know that. I know the feeling. I still love You're Here Now. Yeah,
I mean I like that tune too, but it's just I think that I'm getting more tired of that song and more interested in the Simplicity song recently. Okay. I don't know what it is, but
it's there's a lot going on in the song.
Yeah.
More than simplicity.
Yeah.
And sometimes simple.
Yeah, but also I think it's what I'm feeling right now too.
Oh, okay.
Emotionally.
Okay. Oh, I see.
I can't relate to You're Here Now as much as I used to be able to. But Simplicity I can.
Nice. Kristina Koller. Thank you for stopping by.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Later.
Bye.
Good. Oh, let's talk about your album again. When does it come out?
January 19th.
January 19th.
Yep.
Where can we find it?
It's gonna be on Spotify, iTunes, Apple Music.
Everywhere.
Yes,
Google Play.
And you get a hard copy too if you'd like.
Copy. Do you have vinyl?
No, not yet. Maybe in the future.
Maybe in the future. Okay, great. All right, later. For real now. Bye.
Find some harmony with our surroundings, feeling so bleak. There's nothing for us to do but speak through this simple little melody. I find myself so happy to be here with you in this lonely city. And I know that tomorrow there'll be a breakthrough. No more sorrows, no bad news. We don't need popularity. All we strive is simplicity. So think about all the good things in your life and don't dwell on the bad. this lonely city. And I know that tomorrow will bring a breakthrough. No more sorrows, no bad news. We don't need popularity. All we strive is simplicity. So think about all the good things in your life.